I just witnessed a panel that hosted Destiny, Sneako, Nick Fuentes, and Andrew Tate. There was many problems with that debate. I don't even know where to start. I guess I could start with the fact that there was just so many people on that panel that it was just so difficult to give somebody a turn to speak. In total, there was about like 9 speakers, including Andrew Tate. And just to give you guys an idea as to just how bad it was when it came to sharing turns with other people, here's Destiny trying to get a word in but couldn't because the host of that panel was attempting to give everybody a turn.
Yeah, and I do, Sully, I'll let you ping Nick if you wanted to come in, but I think we went way over time with the space anyway. Destiny, I know you had a question for Nick, but you and him went back and forth.
I guess like basically just like a comment.
I want to get
on
thoughts from Keith. Keith, you've been doing a lot of spaces with Nick. Your final thoughts on Nick being reinstated, and I know you were speaking earlier when we interrupted.
Yeah, thanks. I know Nick dropped. I think he's actually doing a space on his own channel now if people want to continue it there.
Now, if you're wondering, did they hear Destiny? Because clearly he spoke and it seemed like he wanted his turn. I can tell you that Destiny ended up coming up with his own rationalization as to why he couldn't speak on the panel, even though he was a big name on that panel.
One of the weird things that happens in like Discords, and it kind of happens on Twitter as well, it kind of happens in these spaces too, I've noticed with the way they run them, is you bring on people and then you suck them off as much as possible because they're your like celebs that get your viewership. So when people run big spaces like this, the only reason I'm invited is because they know that I'm going to bring an audience. And then Nick is here, but Nick is like their star, so they have to baby him as much as possible, which is why he'll never be forced to answer any questions. And the host will be like, "It's nice as possible." It's just fucking, it's so boring. Ugh.
I'm sure that to a degree, the host was excited to have big names on his panel. After all, this is a brand. You want to grow your brand and you want to work with other big names, you know? So I wouldn't doubt that if that's the case. However, I don't think that was the central theme behind why the co-host or the host acted the way they did. Because if you really take a look at it and you watch the debate, the host was mostly trying to include everybody to have their own opinion. And honestly, I didn't really mind the fact that he would interrupt because every single time Destiny would interrupt, he would always ask a question that was always very interesting and would progress the discussion. However, the host will always remind us why this debate sucked BBL ass. Because every single time it was getting interesting, he would always cut it off and then just bring in someone else to speak.
Hold on, where's Sneako and Myron? How do you guys feel about the fact that Nick would see it so that you guys could never hold public office? You guys could never hold public office in Nick's America. Sneako stood up on stage. He supported him. Sneako said, "Yeah, I support Nick Fuentes."
Yeah, George. I know you were trying to speak earlier. I appreciate you waiting. I'll give you the mic. I think we got to the end of the back and forth.
Because I started to talk, guys. Good one.
The end of the back and forth. What are you talking about, man? They barely even started. And then you can hear Sneako in the background, like about 2 seconds after he said that, after the host said that, Sneako asked the question, do you want me to answer that question? The question that Destiny proposed?
Do you want us to answer that question? I don't know if ever...
I'm going to skip the question just for now. We can get back to it in a bit. George, go ahead.
Why? Like that whole motion there was unstoppable, and then you end up just stopping it and passing it on to somebody who probably doesn't even have any knowledge about the situation. It was a great moment, and for like as a viewer, I was just so disappointed that they didn't just let these two riff, or 3 or 4. But I will say this, all right, because I can't just completely crap on the host, because I think the host did the best he could. Especially when you have a lot of people who are very controversial like Destiny, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate. At the beginning of the debate, Destiny was just completely dominating. He was always just going in, interjecting, interrupting, and then by the end of it, he ends up just getting not blacklisted, but just muted and just kind of left in the background.
I know you're mad because you just want to fucking yap and preach. No, you're not. The question wasn't even directed to you. Let's take it. Oh my god.
George, you joined back at a perfect time. Let's see, hopefully. I wouldn't open it.
I got muted again.
Yeah, you did. And he ended up getting muted many more times after that, to the point to where he finally raged quit.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, Keith, we'll give you the final word, and then anyone that wants
to be clear, Nick is the only one here that said he wanted to block Muslims from running for office. So he's the most Islamophobic here. He's the most.
I'll avoid, guys. I'll avoid.
He also didn't answer any questions directly.
Guys, what I'll do is, because Nick is not here, I just.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck this. All right. Okay. All right. What a yap fest.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was a yap fest. But here's the thing, Destiny. For the most part, you were the one talking, though. I think that you probably talked so much more than everybody else. Now, The reason why he did so is because almost everybody in that panel was against Destiny. Keith Woods, Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, Sneako, all of them were against Destiny. And so he was kind of in a position where he had to talk. So I thought it was a little bit unfair that they ended up muting him. But at the same time, man, you had your chance. So many chances. And of course, you were constantly interrupting and interjecting yourself into the conversation. So maybe it's a bit justified, but honestly, I personally thought that Destiny made it so much more interesting. Every single time he would go in, you know that something was about to go down. And I think this is very apparent when it comes to Andrew Tate. Just look at the way Destiny communicates with Andrew Tate with very condescending statements. And I think that this is what made that debate very entertaining, just because Destiny doesn't hold back.
Well, I don't know if that's a lie at all.
You don't know anything because you don't read any media. That's why you're out here saying things like they get marching orders from everybody. You don't know how any of these media companies are structured. You don't know where the teams get their information from. People that work in media are the most like social media hungry people in the universe. You think that all these people in all these networks across all these countries are getting fed the same marching orders and nobody's leaked anything, nobody's complained about anything, nobody's said anything? And why do we think that mainstream media is any more insulated from these problems than alternative media is? You guys will make fun of the marching orders from mainstream media, but I bet every single alternative media guy in here is anti-vax, thinks COVID came from a bioweapons lab, thinks that Russia has a right to invade Ukraine, thinks that all the charges against Donald Trump are made up, thinks that we shouldn't be supporting Israel. Like, you guys have literally copy-pasted the same opinions between every single one of you, and you guys are talking like an army of NPCs about how the mainstream media gives you like fabricated opinions. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Wow. So Destiny essentially is saying that Andrew Tate is like a robot. He is programmed with a set of standards and he cannot deviate from them. And I mean, if you guys have heard Andrew Tate over and over again, like I have, then you will know that, yeah, he's always constantly talking about the Matrix. He's always talking about how he's being attacked by the Matrix. He's always constantly talking about how, you know, very influential people run the world or whatever the case is. Regardless, though, the debate between Andrew Tate and Destiny was very interesting. I very much enjoyed it. Now there's only one question left to ask, which is Andrew Tate ever going to debate Destiny sometime in the future? Probably, but I don't think anytime soon, or maybe never. And the reason why I come to that conclusion is because, well, Destiny, for the most part, in this debate, he was being very condescending, even when he wasn't talking to anybody. He kept talking about how, oh my God, this is a boring debate. This is so boring. Oh yeah, they're just gonna yap.
And this is the thing I think that's getting lost. The purpose.
Nobody's gonna make him answer a question. Can I leave?
Like
this is so fucking boring. Why would you say
something like that?
And then it's so boring because like all of his talking is it's just like it's him doing like his platitudes and his preaching. It's just like so he just like rambles and does his like yap talking points. It's so boring.
So if he thinks that most people on that panel are NPCs, he thinks that Nick Fuentes is boring, he thinks that Sneako's a grifter, I don't think there's really an incentive for him to go after Andrew Tate in a debate. And it got to the point where Destiny didn't even want to listen to Nick anymore, ramble on. He does this trope where if he doesn't want to listen to a person, he'll just start playing the piano. And what's hilarious is that as Destiny was playing, it was kind of going with the theme of Nick's story. Because he was talking about how like, oh, you know, I've been banned on every social media. You know, all my friends lied to me. My pet turtle ran away. Bro, just watch.
Whether it's a year ago or 7 years ago, but a person like me, I've been banned from everything. I've been lied about by everybody. Lied about by the ADL, SPLC. They've never written anything about Destiny. There's no pressure to get him banned from anything. I get restored. It's not 48 hours. I get invited onto a space where everybody practically has to sign a pledge that says, I'm not with this guy. And we got to bring in 4 other people who do most of the talking from the left.
Did you hear that? Like, it's just, the song is just going with Nick's story. It's I don't know, man. I just thought that it was kind of memey. Nonetheless, though, man, I thought this debate was pretty interesting. The host did the best he could. Obviously, everybody was very unhappy. There was many leavers. We had Andrew Tate who left, Nick Fuentes, he even left at one point, and of course, Destiny who ended up rage quitting. So, I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. I thought this entire debate was pretty interesting. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. That's all I have for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.